Nizaam, back at the Bulls and back in Pretoria, we all know what happened at WASP. You basically lost your job. That must have been a really difficult time in your career and your life.
Yes, Ashfaq, it's been a really challenging time for me and the family. Obviously, not knowing what's happening and where we're going with our career going forward. So it's been tough. The smaller stuff like obviously moving house and rentals, places and stuff like that. So it's a lot of admin that we also needed to sort out. But I'm happy I found work here within Jake at the Blue Bulls. I'm really happy about that. And, it's unfortunate a lot of players still at WASP. Out of a squad of 45, 50 players, just over 12 boys, I believe, has found work again. I think yesterday they just signed up Dan Robson to play in the French top 14. So it's been a really tough time for all of us. But the nice thing is that we're also staying in contact. We're sending each other's messages just to, show that we are there in some sort of way, Ashfaq. So yes, a really challenging time in my career, but as I said, I'm really glad, to link up and join Jake White and the boys again.
So, being back now at the Bulls, you had some time there. What do you hope to achieve this time around? You're a very experienced player, and I know Jake likes to mix the youth and experienced guys. So, how do you see your role now being back at the Bulls?
Well, the last time I left here, we obviously won the, I believe it's the Super Rugby Cup. We've also won the Curry Cup just after I left, I believe. So leaving the team in that state was a really positive for me. It's unfortunate that we lost to last season to the Stormers in the URC final. But I believe, every team is pushing for silverware, and it's no different here with us. Every day we're working really hard, even though I just joined the team last week. But a lot has changed, since coming back. But the core values, as I mentioned before, has really stuck, quite similar of, being there for each other, having good character and, playing with and carrying yourself with a lot of humility. So, in terms of that, I'm really excited, as I said, to be back. And I see myself, obviously, as anyone else in the team, to bring the URC trophy back to Pretoria.
Of course, just finally from me, for now, Nizaam, there's like 3 competitions still ahead. There's URC, Champions Cup, and the Curry Cup, I think, will start in February. So, a lot of rugby and a lot of competitions to handle. So, you must be excited about that and bring your experience having played in Europe before.
Yeah, I'm really lucky and fortunate to have obviously been that side. They guys that pride themselves on attacking off set pieces. They love that. I think just going back to Super Rugby, where South African teams has learned a lot, is obviously the interplay, the offloads through the New Zealand side, the Australian sides, as well as Jaguars and the Japanese team. So in terms of that, we picked up a lot of skill, there, whereas, the people in UK up north is more a physical game, more direct. As I said, off the lineouts, off the scrum, they like to attack. But, in our arsenal, we have no different. I think we have really good variation, not only maybe in the Blue Bulls team, but also across South Africa. So that's a good thing. So I'm really looking forward to see how we do this season. As I said, we want to bring silverware home. We're here to win. We're not here just to partake in these tournaments. So the teams we're up against is obviously Lyon and I believe Exeter. So that is tough rivals. I believe Arno Botha is also at Lyon. So I'll try and get some stuff on how they play and being, one of the older guys. I'll try and get some stuff off Arno Botha because we're quite good mates and so on. So, but going to England, Exeter away, that's going to be extremely tough. I mean, just saying now before, I've been there with WASP. Out of probably 4 or 5 games, we've only won one game, Ashfaq. So it is a tough place to go and play. But the way we're going now, the variations, like I said before, is really good. And it's almost like adding another string to our bow here at the Bulls. So again, we're really, really excited. And it's fresh for us. It's a new competition. We've tested ourselves in the Super Rugby. I think we've won maybe 3 or 4 competitions in the Super Rugby. So we want to, add on to that tally.
John, what do you hope to achieve at the Bulls? Do you still have Bokka's aspirations, or are you just happy to play at the Bulls?
No, look, I'm extremely happy to be here, first of all. But secondly, I don't think anybody in South Africa or up-and-coming player will ever stop of dreaming of playing for the Springboks. That will always be a part of us. And the nice thing is that I've tasted a Springbok rugby before, and the margin for errors, is very, very small. Anything you do, they capitalize on that. So I would be, really honored and, proud to be called up again. And as I said before, everybody dreams of playing for the Boks, and, they're doing extremely well. It's unfortunate they lost to France last week, Saturday, but it could have gone anyway with the 2 red cards in the game. So how I love my life is yes, you have personal aspirations, but I believe in the bigger things, scheme of things, team first always, and sometimes against specific players it might count against you, but I believe team first, and everything else is just a bonus for you in the end of the day.
As an older player, what do you make of the challenge of the newer generation coming through, Evan Lewis, Aldrich Love? I mean, there is 20 young Lucy's that's really good, really pushing for a place in the Springbok team.
No, it's really healthy, for Rassie to have such a large spectrum, or how can I put it, to select from. So those guys are definitely putting their hands up, and I've seen them play. I believe I think last year I was watching the Blue Bulls and the Stormers in the URC final, and the way they played. In fact, the rest of the boys, it's those are things that they're skillful, they're hardworking, I believe. So to put that all together, I wish them all the best for their future. The young boys, they make me feel like I'm an old man, but we're here to compete, and as I said, it's really healthy for the Springbok selectors to have such a big variety to choose from.
My last question is, you are seen as the replacement for Marcel. He's just been named as the second most influential player after URC up to date. Big shoes to fill?
Yes, I think with him leaving, he's done wonders for the team. He's led from the front. I've played under Marcel and with Marcel, obviously, against him as well. He's a really tough player. He gets stuck and gritty in a lot of tight stuff, and he's a player who can be really versatile, jump in the line out, move, very mobile around the field. So for me, it's a lot better to have Marcel on my team than playing against him, because he's a tough man. But what a great guy, not only on the field but off the field as well. He's just there, willing to help you, whether it's small detail stuff. In the end of the day, that's going to make the difference for the team. He's always there to assist in that type of way. But for me, it's taking every day, step by step. I'm not worried about what's going to happen in the next 3 or 4 weeks. I pride myself on focus on today and the team we're challenging this week. So that's how we'll face everything this season.
Marcel, I mean, it's been widely covered. Just expanding on your former club going under, and the need to find a new place to call a workspace. But what was or what were some of the things that pulled you to come and say, okay, I'm going to come back to the Bulls?
Now, because I've worked with Jake before, and the coaches that are still here, I think the only new, or he was part of the Bulls, or added to the coaching staff, is Pine Pinar. who's running our defense now. So I've worked with him in SA under 20, but I'm again excited to work with him because I know what he brings. But having said that, obviously I knew what I'm getting myself into. The quality coaches, because I've been here before, as well as the players, have really made me feel welcome. And as I said before, like if there's anything that I'm not mainly worried about or something that I need to work on, they will always be there for you to help you make or become a better player. And in the end of the day, that for me is the difference between winning and losing. When teams come together, they gel. It's because the things, you know, in training we do to help each other become better is really good for a team trait to have. So all of those things ran through my mind when I was in contact with Jake. And for me, yes, there were some options, but I was really, really happy to come here to the Blue Bulls.
And maybe just to take us through that process where you were deciding where to go. How long did you spend in conversation with Jake? Was it the space of a week, 2 weeks?
No, it was really quick. I'm not going to say exactly how long it took, but I mean, Jake is a guy that he gives so much confidence to his players. When we're out there on the field, you sort of, you know, you need to take ownership of your own role. And if I think that all comes together, you know, we can all be powerful. But yeah, it took, you know, a few moments basically for us to seal the deal. But having said that, it's been a really tough time. Take nothing away of, you know, a lot of credit must go to the family, my wife. Obviously, the kids, they're at a really young age, so they're not sure what quite is still happening. But I'm sure I'll tell them about, you know, one day what happened to me and gave me some more grey hairs. But luckily, it all worked out in the end. And I hope my other friends back in Coventry in England, they find something really soon.
Sure. Luckily for you, the grey hairs aren't...
Yeah. Yeah. It's either gone or grey.
Tell me, how exciting was the opportunity to play in URC, and do you see that as a second opportunity to play against some of the players that you would be playing against if you were still in England?
Yes, definitely. Look, I want to test myself against the best, and currently I believe the island is #1 in the world if you're going internationally, which makes up the Leinster, the Munster, you know, so those players, as well as the French teams, who's going to be a real good candidate for the World Cup next season. So I want to test myself against the best. So finding out that, you know, us being in the URC is a really exciting time, and I want to, you know, test myself. And a lot of players see us, or maybe the boys, as having experience. I still feel very young at heart. I've got a lot of ambition. So I don't want to tell people like we're not old men, but you know, if we can just help the a little bit younger boys, you know, it will make us or bring us a lot of happiness, where maybe calmness is needed, where they might not have that. I'm not saying that is the case, but that's where sort of we can step in and guide them and help them, that they can, you know, one day do to their players one day, if they, you know, sort of the experienced boys in the team.
And maybe just before I touch on the opportunity to play in the Champions League of Rugby, Jake speaks a lot about, you know, blooding the winning culture across the teams, the Bulls. That also must be something exciting for you as a more experienced player, to work with youngsters who know what it takes to win, and we have shown that they can. Yeah,
and mainly for me, the younger boys who we're working with here at the Bulls, they're all like just absorbing everything. They're willing to work, and they're also asking questions. One thing that I like is that they want to know why as well they're doing it. Because in the past, a lot of times you just, you know, yes, I'll do it, you know. But to all the madness and things happening, you must also understand why you're doing it. Because there's things in the game where, for example, you need to exit, but you want to run the ball, for example, and then the pressure is back on you if you lose the ball. So it's things like that. Why are you doing, you know, attacking here and giving a kick or whatever, or attacking kicks at the wingers, all this stuff. So they want to also know why, which is a good thing. And the boys are really, really humble. I think just the under-19s, they've also won the competition with Edgar. So really well done to him. I think it was last week. So they're definitely doing the right thing, you know, to integrate, to involve everyone together so that things just don't die sort of at this level. It's been filtered through, filtered up, filtered down, sideways, everything, which is, I believe, for growth and empowerment is a really good thing going forward.
There's the opportunity now to participate in the Heineken Champions Cup. Some call it the Champions League of rugby. Just from an experienced player's point of view, how good would that be opportunity for?
The opportunity is always, you know, great, but it's a tough league. As I said before, the margin for errors is so small. I mean, they will capitalize on anything. If you attacking and you lose the ball within 5 meters from their try line, the next minute you will end up under your poles, you know, having a talk of, you know, this or that. So it's a really tough league, but it's something that you know, once you get there, you need to be squeaky clean. You need to know and understand what you're trying to achieve. Everybody needs to be on the same page. But having said that, it will be, you know, what a moment to be part of, you know, the best teams in the world, basically, to compete at the highest level. I don't think it gets any better than that. I think the only thing mainly is probably winning the World Cup, which our fellow South African teammates, you know, or players did. So in terms of that, I think it's really exciting for us. We're still new to the competition, but seeing how it went last season, both South African teams being in the URC final, it only helps us to go into the Heineken Cup, you know, playing, you know, in that tough league.
Sure. Maybe on a lighter note, Ashfaq, if you've got a question after, if you've got a question. You're back in Pretoria. It's very hot. How are you acclimatizing? And then what did you miss the most in terms of food?
I definitely don't miss the -3, the -2 degrees in Coventry or anywhere in England. But I have to say that I don't think I can say this on interview, but I love, you know, a very bad cheat meal is a Gatsby down in Cape Town. I couldn't have it, obviously, them not making it up there north. So yeah, but as I said, it's really good to be back, and I've missed a lot of things, and it's just a sense of happiness and a lot of contentment in my heart to be back home.
Surely that happiness is also then going to add a little bit to your game, you know?
Yes.
Extra spark, because when you're happy, you do things better.
Exactly, that's a plan. I don't want to, you know, talk beforehand and stuff. So as I said, I like to take things day by day, and hopefully, you know, God willing, things will go well.
Sure. Ashfaq?
Yes, one more please, thanks Lunga. Nizaam, when last have you played a game?
Ashfaq, your question sounds like, Nizaam, when last did you play a game?
How's your fitness at the moment? And then what that following on from that, someone like Dion Fourie, your former Stormers.
Is it?
Okay. So we'll answer those first two. When's the last time you played a game, and what's your current form like?
Okay.
I'm assuming that's based on your perspective from training. The last one, Ashfaq, maybe you can just send to me on WhatsApp because the line cut. I'm going to put you on mute just in case there's a delayed reaction.
I think it's just under a month, if I think correctly now, Ashfaq. The last time I've played, but I was really, you know, very happy with my performances back in England. I think we've played the season 4 games, and I've been part of all 4 of them, which the 3 games I basically played 80 minutes. So being here in Pretoria, it's a different case, the Highveld. So obviously I need to, sharpen up on all the details, the calls and things like that. I believe once you know all of that, the instincts and everything else will kick in. But I feel, good. It's just some stuff that I need to sharpen up, like I said before. But again, very, very excited. Another one.
Dion Fourie has made the Bok team at 36. Does that inspire you to push for Bok selection a little bit more?
Yes, definitely. I think it gives a lot of boys hope in that sort of age bracket. And like I said, we never stop dreaming of becoming a Springbok again and being part of that setup.
And surely you must, just piggybacking on Ashfaq's question, you must feel as though you are at the right place because there's quite a number of players that you are going to be reunited with going into the next week who are with the Boks.
Yes, I remember leaving here to watch last season. There were boys who were under 21s in Kane Moody. Kurtleaf played with him obviously a few times. Obviously Goosen was a Springbok before, but coming back now we have more Springboks. So I do feel like for Jake, and a lot of credit must go to him. He would want all of us, to become Springboks. That is obviously part of his vision or his goal as a coach, I believe. But playing with Springboks, the best in the country, will only help us lift the standard or lift our game to the next level. So it's a really good thing to to be part of.